Hi, and welcome to Gate to Wisdom. I'm going to tell you a little secrets about Sukkot. So there's two opinions as to why we celebrate Sukkot. Some say it's because we live in the hut for 40 years in the desert. And some say it's because the Ananeha covered, the clouds of glory that followed us in the desert for 40 years. Well, the truth is that it's both. But the first thing what happened is when we came out of Mitzrayim as a free nation, we went to follow Hashem in the desert. And we walked into the desert without knowing what's going to happen to us. Where's our food coming to us? Where's our shelter? Where are we going to sleep? What are we going to do? How is this all going to work out? We just walked out into the desert and we followed Hashem. The very first city that we came to was named Sukkot. And many, many years before that, Yaakov Avinu was there, and he had built little huts, and he called it Sukkot, and he named that city Sukkot. So the very first city that the Jews traveled from Mitzrayim and spent their first night was in Sukkot. And yes, they made little Sukkot for their animals and themselves, and they slept there. And they ate their very last meal, which was the unleavened bread, which is the matzah. But here they left Mitzrayim, where they had food and they had shelter, two very important sustenance that we need in order to survive. And here with just total belief, total trust in Hashem, with total emunah and betachon, that Hashem is going to provide for us, Hashem is going to take care of us. The Jews just walked out of Mitzrayim. Yes, they were free, but where's the food going to come from? Where are they going to sleep tonight? What's going to happen? So they went to Sukkot, the city, and they built their little huts. They slept there, having total trust that God is going to protect them. God, seeing that the Jews did such a thing, that they were willing to come out with such belief and such trust in God, that he sent the Ananeha covered, the glorious clouds down to protect them. And it protected them throughout the whole 40 years. When they walked, the sand was free of scorpions, free of any animals. It was walking like on grass or walking on a sidewalk straight. The other elements of the weather they were protected. Their clothes were always cleaned and nice. And even as they grow, the clothes were growing with them. So many miracles Hashem did, and the clouds were there protecting them. So that's the two reasons we sit in the sukkah. One is because we built the sukkah when we first came out, and we trusted Hashem, and Hashem sent the clouds to protect us. But then, why aren't we sitting in the sukkah Pesach time? Or why aren't we doing it during Shavuos time when we're in the desert? Why are we doing it 6 months after Pesach all the way to September? And because September is we already harvested all the crops and we brought all the food in. So two things we have now. We have food, because we just brought it all in, the crops. And we have a beautiful home to live in. So we have our security now, 6 months after Pesach. So that's exactly when we have our security. Hashem doesn't want us to be complacent. He says, no, go out now in September, 6 months after Pesach, after you've harvested everything, go out and stay for 7 days in the sukkah to remember what I did for you in the desert and how you had betachon and trust, and how you went into the huts, and how the Ananeha cover did protect you. So those are the two interesting secrets that that's why we are in the sukkah. The other thing that interesting that I learned from Rabbi Jacobson was we already knew that the esrog is like the heart. We already knew that. And we knew that it has a good smell and it has a good taste, so it's a tzaddik. But something I didn't know, and it says that the rabbi said that the esrog is like Abraham, full of chesed, and we should, when we're remembering sitting in the sukkah, we should be like an esrog. We should be like an Abraham who's totally full of chesed. And like the tzaddik, alavai, right? Alavai. Then we have the lulav. The lulav, we've all learned that the lulav is the spine of the back and to be straight. And we learned that it has no. We should be like the spine. The spine, I want you to know, has a fruit, right, which is the dates, but it has no smell. So it has taste, but it has no smell. So it's like somebody who studies Torah but does not do any good deeds. From Rabbi I learned, Rabbi Jacobson, that the spine is our second Abbas, Yitzhak. Just like he was bind close with the wood on the Akedah, look how tight the lulav is. Look how tight all the leaves are together. That is like Yitzchak Avinu, very tight, close to the spine, close to its source. And we learned that Yitzchak is Gevurah. Then we have Yaakov. Yaakov Avinu is the the Hadassim. The Hadassim is like our eyes. And look how close they are, so many leaves on one bunch. It's like, we remember Yaakov, that he had so many children, daughters and sons, and a lot of them. And Hadassim has good smell, but it doesn't have a good taste. So it's somebody who does not study Torah, but does good deeds. Then we have the Aravos, the last of the four meaning. The Aravos is the first to die, unfortunately, but it's our lips. The one that's related to Aravos is Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik, the Aravos is like our mouth, so we should be like Yosef, and see how he used his mouth when he spoke to his brothers. See how kind he was, even though what all that they have done for him. So we've got Yosef, and Yosef is sword. So the Aravos has no smell and has no taste. So it's a person that does not study Torah and a person that does not do good deeds. So here, I hope you enjoyed the few little secrets of Sukkot. I want to tell you something a little bit about davening that I learned from a rabbi Yisrael Friedman, and he was known as the Holy Rizner, and this was from the 1796 to 1850. He did this mashal, it's a parable. You know how sometimes we have to cook first and we have to clean first before we go to daven. But when I read this, I realized that maybe I should daven first. So let me explain this parable that he had said so many years ago. He said that there's a man that comes home for dinner and he's starving. He wants to eat, but his wife is not ready for him. And he's waiting patiently, and still there's no food coming. And he's wondering what's going on. Maybe she's going to fix him like a big turkey with all the festive things with it, or maybe it's going to be prime rib, or maybe it's going to be delicious salmon with all the trimmings. I don't know. He's waiting and waiting. And finally, after hours of waiting, she comes to him with a baked potato, boiled egg, and lettuce or some beans. And this is what she gives him for dinner. And that's where the story ends. And the rabbi goes on to explain. He says it's the same thing with Hashem. In the morning, we wake up, we wash Negavasa. First we say Modani, then we wash Negavasa, we get dressed, and God is waiting for us. First we have to get the challah in, and then we have to get our chicken in, and then we have to change our sheets, and we have to pick up our cleaners, and so God is waiting. When are we going to daven to Him? And the reason we waited so long to davening, maybe then we're going to give Him a very special davening, a full course davening, a 7-course davening. Are we going to be very special, or is it just going to be a hard-boiled egg with a baked potato, a rushed job? So I started seeing this parable, and I said, wow, I better first daven and give my most of the day to God before doing my work. And sometimes I succeed, but sometimes I sometimes cheat, and I have to put the challah in before, but it's better to do the davening first. But then the reason I do it is because I'm more relaxed to daven. I don't have to worry about that, I haven't done that yet. So sometimes I cheat, but I like this parable of what the rabbi said. But then it continues. There was a man, when he heard this, the rabbi telling him this, he says, but Rabbi, if the husband and wife have shalom bayis, and the husband surely will understand that the wife is busy, and it will, and he'll accept the food that she gave him. And Rabbi Israel said, wow, this is exactly why you were created in this world. That's exactly what we want to hear. You just saved all your brothers and sisters, all of Klal Israel, because Hashem, no matter what, whether you're busy or whether you're not busy, Hashem will hear your prayers and your answers. And if I may bless all of us with this new year, that this whole plague, for whatever reason it's here, should just disappear as it came. And whether we get the virus, the vaccine or not vaccine, it should just be healthy for whoever needs it to take it. And we should have a year of plenty of health, plenty of parnasa, and plenty of happiness. Good Yom Tov, and enjoy.